Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. Today I'm just going to be sharing April's monthly budget, and let's just get right into it. So starting here with the income section, first up we have the carryover. This is the money that is in our checking account. We have to have some money in there. Our mortgage is $492, so I like to have some money in there for when they pull the mortgage on the first of the month. And then we also had a little bit of extra income in the month of March, so that's why it's a little higher. I usually budget about $500 to be carried over into the next month, but this is money that's just in our checking account, and I count it as our income for the next month because it will be budgeted out for this month. So we have $1,102.59 in there. Next up is my husband, Noah. He's a W-2 employee, and he gets paid salary. He gets paid twice a month, and I have his income blocked out for privacy reasons. Next up is me. I work for myself. I do DoorDash, Grubhub, Instacart, things like that when I am able to get out, and I also have that blocked out for privacy. Next up, we have the other category. This is $375.94. We actually have a surplus that we paid into our escrow account with our mortgage. So we will be getting a check, and this is the amount that we will be getting. So our total income for the month of April is $5,248.93. So next up is the expense category. And the first thing we have here is a mortgage. This is $492, and this includes the principal, interest, taxes, and home insurance. Next up is our gas and electric. This is at $212.18. It's actually down a little bit from last month, which is good. It's because we used less gas. Next up is our water and trash. We pay this quarterly, and it is not due this month. It's not due again until June. We just paid it in March. Next up is Cricket. This is for my phone, and this is $35 a month. Next up, we have our internet, and this month that is at $44.99. Next up is the buffer. This is the money that I need to save from my husband's checks and from what I make. This needs to be in the bank account when the mortgage is pulled out every month. So this is $500. And I also wanted to mention our mortgage is actually going down. It's at $492, but it will be $473.76. That will be the new amount starting in May, actually, because it's going down because of the surplus with the escrow. They are lowering the monthly mortgage payment amount, so that's pretty cool. Next up is the dates and fun, and that is at $150. This is things we do for fun as a family, if we go on a date, if we go out to eat, things like that, and that is set at $150 this month. Next up we have is gas. That is at $375, but we are going to Chicago, and so I wanted to make sure we had enough gas money to cover that because we are driving. Next up is groceries. I have that set at $450. We actually bought a new fridge. It's much bigger than the one that we got rid of. And so we need to fill it with groceries, and then we're also planning on going to Costco this month, and stocking up on some snacks and things. So the groceries this month is set at $450. Next up is household, and that is at $50 this month. We don't really need a lot of things, and I do shop at my sister's house. She does a bunch of couponing, and I get some good deals, so we don't really need a lot of money there. Next up is miscellaneous, and I have it set at $300. This is for anything we're going to be buying in Chicago while we're out, any food or souvenirs or whatever. Our tickets for the places that we're going are already paid for. Our hotel is already paid for. This is just anything extra, and then the rest of it will be for just miscellaneous stuff when we get back. Next up is Hulu, and that is 99 cents a month. And then we have the extra mortgage. We are not paying anything on the extra mortgage this month. Next up is ABC Warehouse. This is a new thing. Like I said, we bought a fridge. It was about $2,200. It's actually going to be about $2,100. We got $100 off because they scuffed up the side of it. So $2,100. We have 6 months to pay it off. Completely doable. We are paying $491.77 on that this month, and our total for our expenses is $3,101.93. So then moving on to the savings section of the budget. First up, we have the emergency fund. This is in its own bank account, separate from the rest of the funds, and we plan to put $1,000 into this fund this month. Next up is my husband Noah. He gets $60 of personal spending this month, and I get $50. Both of our accounts are in their own online checking, and we have our own debit cards, and we can spend our money on whatever the heck we want. And then over here I have the beginning balances for those accounts. Our emergency fund is just over $1,100. My husband has $18 left in his account, and I have $111. Next up, these are all of our sinking funds, all of the blue here, the car insurance all the way down to the vacation. And all of these funds are separate, but they are all in the same bank account, and I just keep track of them on a spreadsheet, how much is in each one. I like to do that because say there was some crazy expensive car repair, I might be able to take some money from Christmas or something like that, or home maintenance or something to cover that cost. I don't like accounts going in the negative, but if I need extra money, I can pull it and it actually doesn't make an account negative, whereas if they were separate accounts, I wouldn't have enough to cover something like that. So first up, we have the car insurance. I'm putting $100 into that fund, and our beginning balance is $543. Next up is the car repairs. I'm putting $80. I've been trying to put $80 every single month. Our beginning balance is $1,083, which is good because we will be needing tires on our van soon. So next up is Christmas. We're putting $50 in, and we're starting with 50, so that will have 100 at the end of the month. Next up is my son Jonah. This is his clothing fund. He gets $10. He is starting with $122. He really doesn't need much. He gets a lot of his hand-me-downs from his brother Logan, but there are a few things that we do need to buy him, so we are saving up for those. Next up is my son Logan. This is his clothing fund. He gets $14 this month, and he is starting at almost $50. Next up is my husband Noah. This is his clothing fund, and he gets $50, and he is starting at $28. Next up is my clothing fund. It's $50 as well, and I'm starting at $83. I like to keep the clothing funds separate so that we can really keep track of who's spending what, so that one person isn't really hogging all of the clothing money. But of course, if somebody needs something, if my husband needs work boots, they're kind of expensive, or somebody needs a new coat, those things are going to cost more. And we just kind of know what we need. If we notice something, if we notice somebody needs something like that, that's going to cost a little bit more, then we put a little bit more money into their budget that month. Next up we have is the gifts, and we're putting $50 in it. This month, our beginning balance is $167. Next up is the home maintenance fund. We're putting $100 in, and we are starting at $988. We spent a little bit of money last month. We ended up buying a new sink for our bathroom. I would like to get some new cabinets in there as well, but I can't find any that I really like. So I'm just going to keep looking and see what happens. Next up, we have the kid fund. This is for things like diapers, wipes, anything that they might need or want. And we're putting $100 in there, and they are starting with $91. Next up is medical, and I usually put $40 in this account, and I'm putting $300. I would like to get some savings going here. We are starting with $212. I am actually scheduled, I just scheduled it a few days ago. I am scheduled to have Lasik surgery done in September, and it is $5,000, so I am saving up for that. I won't have the full $5,000 by the time I have the procedure, but they do accept the Care credit card, and they are willing to finance that out for a year, which is more than enough time that I need. But I would just like to save at least $3,000 of it, pay that, and then just finance a little bit of it. So I'm super excited to have that done. Next up, we have pictures. We're not putting anything in there. We have $193 in there. That's just for professional pictures we would like to have taken any day now. The money's been there for a while, so we're just waiting to have that done. Next up, we have subscriptions and memberships. This is for things like Google Storage and Costco. We recently got a Sam's Club membership, things like that. Amazon. We're just saving a little bit of money for those memberships when they're due. $20 this month, and we are starting at $55 for that fund. Next up is the vacation fund. We're only putting in $50. Our beginning balance is $60. We have everything paid for. We are going to Arizona in September, the beginning of September, and we already have all of the hotels booked and paid for, the rental car and all of that. So we don't need to save too much on the vacation. So $50 is good. Next up we have is the taxes fund. This is money that I pull out from what I make to pay my taxes, and I have that blocked out for privacy, but I do have a beginning balance. I have $158 in there, and our total for our savings this month is $2,147. And you can see down here we have a zero-based budget. That means all of our income minus all of our expenses minus all of our savings equals zero. So we know where every single dollar is going to be going. If you guys like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.